Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Nabi back again. And today we're going to talk about microchimerism. All right. So, to those of you who are wondering what that is, very scientific, but it's very real when it comes to the BW. It is why they're a lost cause and why they may not be suitable at all for marriage by the any decent Afro man. Not just what people are looking at high value, six-figure income. We're talking about anybody that wants to raise a family and want to take the risk that these women will be around and your children once you get into it with women that have this going on. So what is this? This is when the women become the men who were on the carousel she rode. Oh, we'll go into this deeply. All right, and to some of them women complaining about, oh, well, we the same as men. Oh, well, you make my point. Okay, this is why we're going to discuss why the BW high body count matters, but it is not the same for the man, or his body count don't matter at all in this. Oh, this is a message that they are not going to like. Um, the brother Black Ram has been doing a good service on. He's been doing just a very good service on the succubus. All right, so go check them out. And this video is kind of related, and I went over this scientifically before, but I'm reposting it because this needs to be explained in a way that you can see it. So before I get started, let me greet everybody. Word Hardu Dog, Olo Oi to the Bang, Vasas Los, Bonjour mes amis, Keto Bawani Konnichiwa, Ni hao ni ama, Sani Manani, Jambo Habai Gani, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, Kamusta Ka, Kamusta Pokayo, Talafa Lava Soy Fua. Here's the thing. When women keep trying to throw that, well, the men aren't virgins, it's not the same qualifications for us since our innards do not get worn out by how many D's we run through that, how many pajang we get. It doesn't, because art stuff is external. However, their internal situation get worn out, but something worse happens. They carry on all of the DNA that they have taken in. And this is why the Most High said, don't mix seeds. When he was talking about us not mixing seeds, he not only was he talking about with the nation that was going to turn us away from the Most High, but he was talking about our own. The BAW would be this in our case, the BW, right? And the reason being is they have so many seeds in them of different men that it is mixed. And remember, they're not supposed to. This is why virginity mattered, and this is why there was a high penalty to pay if the woman was not a virgin. This is why. All right, and so this chimerism, microchimerism. Some of you watched Yu-Gi-Oh before, right? And let's kind of, for you Yu-Gi-Oh fans, we're going to use that kind of to break this down. Oh, let me remind you, get the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. In the description box will be my PayPal, me, and my Cash App. And so we're handing out soccer balls again to the children in the favelas, and in this case in Colombia, in the barrios. And so if you'd like to help my channel by donating, that's how you do it. But remember, you take care of yourself and family first before you donate to anybody, anything. And you give out of your abundance. So hopefully some of y'all are blessed enough to help out. All right, so let's break this down. Okay, so now let us look deep into this. Chimerism, microchimerism. All right. In the article, which you can see in the description box, all right, there's a biological phenomena in which a woman absorbs and then harbors for her entire lifeline a significant number of cells that originated in a different individual other than from the 23 chromosomes of genetic material from each of the biological parent, which created her as an embryo. Okay, at conception. All right. This hosting of foreign genetic material that takes up residence in almost every tissue of a female's body, most significantly within the brain, is purportedly 93,000-year-old biological defense mechanism known as microchimerism. Okay, this is defined as the occurrence of the cells that originate from another individual and are therefore genetically distinct from the cells of the host. I want y'all to understand this. What is the seed? Well, it's a cell. Individual. Okay? There are 4 different ways that this can happen naturally. This is without a medical procedure such as blood transfusion or organ transplants. All right, now we are going to look at the 4, but we're going to be interested for the purpose of this video, the 4th one. And why are we doing this? Why am I making this video? Because I would like to shut up those, especially the ones in the Kevin Samuels real fan page group or whatever they want to call themselves, who let a lot of women come up there and tell these dudes that, well, we're the same as y'all. That what you can do, we can do. That you got a high body count if we got a high body count. But see, we're not receiving other DNA in our body. We're giving. All right, period. The males, we as men are giving. The women were built to receive, and they weren't built to receive from everybody. All right, so remember, we're talking about mixing seeds. This is what the Most High was talking about. This is what he was talking about in the Ezekiel 16th chapter, in Ezekiel 23rd and 25th chapter. All right? Understand this, that all the lovers of the BAW was going to come against them. Why? Because they have all these seeds of different men up in them. All right, so let's break this down. Okay, this is how this can happen. An abortion, whether chemical or spontaneous or induced. This means that from all these deaths that these BWs committed within their womb, there is a residual effect. Okay? And the DNA from that death is still within her. And remember, this DNA goes to the brain. So think about this. You didn't let the whole child out. You slaughtered it in the womb. And now it's crying out to the Most High through the BW. All right. See, there's a lot of wickedness that's been going on in these dark places. A male twin that's vanished. An older brother transferred by the maternal circulation. And sexual intercourse. Why sexual intercourse? Because that's what men leave, seeds, DNA. So all these dudes, the more partners they have, the more of their DNA they have. And according to this research, the more of that they have running around in their system and in their brain. They are polluted, as we say. This is the reason why they were to remain virgins. And this is why that if in scripture a woman has one husband, all right, she divorces, they get a divorce. She can go to another man, but if she divorced that man because the grass was greener on the other side, she cannot go back to the original husband because that will cause confusion. She will have to go to another man. She can never go back to a previous love. All this stuff is what they're doing, running back and forth between all of these men. And that's because a lot of these men don't know better, because even when you try to tell them what's right, they won't listen. So they are going to suffer with them. Now, you ask yourself, what is the outlook on this? Is this kind of the beginning of demon possession of these things? Is this the reason why we have this mental illness going on? Is this the reason why it seems like there's such a reprobate mentality, especially in the neighborhood run by the single BW, you know, the single mom? Is this why their sons come out thinking that all this destruction and mayhem is okay? Is this why that these dudes are so strung out and addicted? Yes, weed is an addictive drug. If you don't believe that, look at Shakari, and we'll get into that, how she couldn't control herself enough to not miss the Olympics and then miss them. There might be another theory. We'll go into that somebody didn't think about. There may be another theory, and it just came to me. Has a lot to do with the Jamaicans. All right. It also has a lot to do with the Afro community too. All right. And not only that, the poisonous mentality of the BWs and the dudes that think that rules do not apply to them no matter what. All right. So what this basically testifies is that women are chimeras. And these are, a chimera is something that takes something in and basically start becoming something else. All right. And they go into this as unlike men who are made up of genetic material from only their mother and father. Women are designed to be sponges for genetic material from anyone. This is why they needed to remain virgins. Pregnancy with a male child is the most popularly talked about way that explains why a woman has foreign male DNA in her body. All right, that's the most popular. And that's the most popular is because even the scientists, even like everything, don't want to tell the truth and say that they've been 304s. All right, and that's how they got all that male DNA in their body. And the reason why this is significant, because they would like to believe that, but the problem that they ran across is some of these women only had females. At birth, they knew that it was a female, and only had female, and they still had these things. And so they had to come to the conclusion that yes, is from the seeds left over from men, any man that they've been with. Remember, it says she's a sponge. From conception to birth, cells travel back and forth from the mother and the fetus via the placenta, and vice versa. From cellular standpoint, it goes without needing much explanation that this will result in the mother retaining DNA from her son or daughter. But for the sake of the article, we will only focus on Y DNA. Why Y DNA? Because, again, these women had a lot of this DNA in them, Y DNA, that did not come from sons because they didn't have sons. And so they came to the conclusions that, oh yeah, is a good possibility that they retain the DNA of the men they sleep with. All right? And so, is this the thing that has them running crazy like this? All right? Think about it. Black girl magic. That's what they're talking about now. They're about black girl magic, witchcraft. All right? And what they come up with also is that this infers that the child is not the only one who is receiving DNA, but that the mother is being imprinted by foreign DNA from the fetus. Yes, the fetus is a foreign body, right? And we got this. But again, what other research has found is, well, then explain why women who only have daughters have this. And then upon further research, and they had to explain something else. Why is it that women that do not have children have this? See, women that had daughters had this system, and women that do not have children or did not have children had this thing going on. What did they all have in common? None of them were virgins. All right? So, the research into male microchimerism has concluded that as much as 10% of the free-flowing DNA in the mother's bloodstream comes from the fetus, and much of it remains in her cells for the rest of her life. It is important to note that while full-term pregnancy will result in the mother having longer opportunity to harbor more cells from her child, the fetal cells, miscarriage, and indeed abortion will still leave genetic imprint in the mother, not just full-fledged of an impact. All right. And they say also most of these cells disappear precipitously as time passes the incident, especially in the case of chemical abortion. All right, so they're dealing with the abortion and the birth, but this is in women who are not virgins. This is in almost all women. And when they did research, they found this in women who didn't even have children. So, and it's male DNA, Y chromosome, and so yes, they had to come to the conclusion, yes, it has to come from partners, the sexual partners she's had throughout the carousel of life. So basically, when you really look at this, these women would like to tell you that size matters. Size don't matter to a virgin. These women would like to tell you, oh, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing. They're carrying all this DNA that they have received from everybody they've been with. All right? They would like to tell you that, oh, they're going to get their groove on like a man. All right? But I would like to tell you this. These women are never satisfied. They're never going to be satisfied. The more men they've been with, the less likely they'll stay with you. In a marriage, it's not even worth it. It's a lost cause. Why is it a lost cause? Because too many partners are going to get into that. Too much experience with them being too worn out. Remember, we're going to get ours regardless of who it is, because we don't wear out all like that. We don't get stretched out like that as men. All right. And the only time size matters to us is when we need a rope to climb out, because so many people have been in that cave, if you know what I mean. All right. But at the end of the day, it's a lose-lose for a decent man. All right. It's a lost cause. And the only good woman is the woman that's only been with one man, or a woman that's a virgin or close to virginity. But the more experiences that they have, as the older they get, the worse off that they are. And remember, them things, if you really look at it spiritually, those constitute each different spirit from all that DNA and men that's been up in there. And it's not the same for men, because we are givers. Women are supposed to be receiving, but they've been receiving too much from too many. With that said, I'm out.